Niall Quinn came to UCFB Wembley today to speak with the students about his career in football as a player, manager and owner. Through his playing career he scored 162 goals in 567 games for club and country, where he played for the Republic of Ireland in 2 World Cups. But it all began at Arsenal Football Club.
Arsenal was a great place to come and learn. It was somewhere that you had to really respect the club's values, certainly while you were at the club anyway. And we used to go in every day through the marble halls at Highbury, and Herbert Chapman's bust would look down at you, and and underneath him in Latin, everything that was expected of you. Remember who you are, where you are, and whom you represent. And each day started like that. So you felt you weren't in the army by any stretch of the imagination, but you were certainly in this colossal, historical, I suppose, sports iconic club that you had to be grateful that you were there every day you went in. I had to go elsewhere to blossom, and that was at Man City, who were down the bottom of the league when I signed with eight games to go. Howard Kendall paid an awful lot of money for me, and things just took off for me then. I scored, I think, in 4 of the games. We won a lot, and we ended up finishing well clear of the relegation. And the following season, I scored 22 goals. So my career kind of took off then at Man City. I broke into the Irish team, where I ended up having 92 caps. Qualified for 3 World Cups, played in 2, and played in the European Championships. Became the country's record goal scorer till a fella called Robbie Keane came along and obliterated it. So that was an exciting time. Man City was responsible for that. Even though I had a bad start, I had a cruciate injury and we got relegated. Kevin Phillips came through the door and my career picked up again, and we just enjoyed this fantastic period of time. Not just at Sunderland. I think I have to point out that the North East then probably had its best period for a long time. You had Middlesbrough with the Juninhos and the Ravanellis and the great fun that Middlesbrough having getting to cup finals and being in the Premier League. You had Newcastle with Shearer and co. That great team that Kevin Keegan started and that Bobby Robson brought into Europe, etc. They were great times for those clubs, and then suddenly we had someone like Kevin Phillips playing centre forward for Sunderland, winning the European Golden Boot. It was just an amazing time for football in the North East. The player influx that came into our country and the way the agents controlled the flow of those players and the pressure that are put on clubs to move them on if the agent finds somewhere better for them. I think clubs in the North East are affected the most by that. Newcastle hold on to them as best they can, but we found it really difficult. When I came back in then as chairman of the club and the Drumville group came in and we wanted to help Roy Keane and we were building a team, putting things together, we were adding to it. That got into a really good place under Steve Bruce, where we finished in the top 10, where we have players like Darren Bent who've rejuvenated their career, scoring over, I think he got 24 goals for us that season. Asamoah Gyan, who came from Ghana and was an instant hit and scored lots of goals for us. Jordan Henderson developed, and you see where Jordan is now, England captain. Simon Mignolet was playing in goal, who we bought very cheaply from Belgium. I could go on. There was a number of players who were really starting to thrive at that time. But the way the game evolved, and with the income that we had and the revenues that we could drive at the club, suddenly, and I'm not having a go at anybody here, suddenly these players were being offered triple what we were paying them. And if we wanted to keep them and go to the next level, we were going to have to pay the most outrageous money, which, as it happens, shortly afterwards, the rules come in to say you couldn't do that anyway, the financial fair play rules. So you're caught in a bind then that the agent has so much power, and you're looking at the best you can do in that circumstance then is try and get a great deal. There's something about Pep being in charge now that the great players will want to be on that journey. It's natural. So the best of the best will find themselves there over the next 2 or 3 years. I expect his signings to be awesome in that period of time, and I expect him to nudge closer to world domination. But how do you write off, and it's ironic that they're playing it, how do you write off Barcelona in that sentence by saying, well, the City are going to get there, they're going to be the best? How can you write off Real Madrid? How can you write off Bayern Munich? At best, Manchester City can become an established part of the conversation each year. Yeah. They haven't been that till now. They've stumbled. Last year was okay in Europe. They moved on. They made progress. But now under this guy, the pressure is on to deliver and to be a standing dish when it comes to people saying who are going to be the last four in the Champions League every year. And right now I think we're beginning to say Man City. We wouldn't have said that under the previous managers.